You're like some thing to come up with God. Do you have like one switch to put them on and off, or how do you control them? Oh, okay. Carol had this on. Wow. Yeah, early too. Stretch of that road.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome here in the sanctuary, and welcome online. I'm Reverend T.J. Mack, and we're the Union Congregational Church of Hancock. I'm going to begin this evening by reading a little bit from All Creation Waits. It's a book that we've been sharing with the children every week. It's about Advent mystery and new beginnings. The author, Gail Boss, writes that she learned that the roots of Advent run deep beneath the Christian church, in the earth and its seasons. Late autumn in the northern hemisphere brings the end of the growing season. When early agricultural peoples had harvested their crops and stacked food in their larders, they gave a collective sigh of relief. Their long days in the fields were over. For their labor, they had heaps of fruits, vegetables, grains, and meat. The group body called out, "Feast!" At the same time, no matter how glad the party, they couldn't keep from glancing at the sky. Their growing season was over because the sun had retreated too far south to keep the crops alive. Each day of the fall, they watched the light dwindle, felt the warmth weaken. It made them anxious and edgy. Throughout December, as the sun sank and sank to its lowest point on their horizon, they felt the shadow of primal fear, fear for survival, crouching over them. They were feasting, and they were fearful, both. When they had eaten up the crop they were feasting on, how would another crop grow? Yes, last year the sun had returned to their sky, but what if this year it didn't? Despite their collective memory, people wedded bodily to the earth couldn't help but ask the question. Their bodies, in the present tense, asked the question. Our bodies still ask that question. In December, the dark and cold deepen, and our rational minds dismiss it as nothing. We know that on December 21st, the winter solstice, the sun will begin its return to our sky. But our animal bodies react with dis-ease. The light, the life, is going. Some of us sink into a seasonal depression. Some of us cope by seizing distractions the marketplace gleefully offers: shopping, parties, and more shopping. To be sure, some part of the holiday season is celebration of the harvest for us, as it was for our ancestors, even if we don't personally harvest crops. We throw a party to mark the end of another year, sometimes with glad gratitude, often as incantation for a better year to come. We do this in a big, bright, loud way. But for us also, as for our ancestors, the dark end of the year brings unrest. It is an end. It comes without our asking and makes plain how little of life's course we control. This uncertainty we don't know how to mark, and so it marks us. We feel weighted, gloomy even, and we feel guilty because voices everywhere in myriad ways sing out, "It's the most wonderful time of the year." You are welcome here just as you are, even if you don't feel like it is right now the most wonderful time of the year. You don't need to be or feel anything other than what is true for you right now. The holidays, Christmas especially, can be loaded with expectations and pressure. So let it all go, if not completely, at least for these few precious minutes together. This time is for you. Let yourself feel the other emotions that we all live with, but sometimes try really hard to suppress. Because it's Christmas, and we think we should be happy. For others, if not for ourselves. There are plenty of reasons to be sad, or lonely, or grief-stricken. We can name them, acknowledge them, share them. Tonight, and hopefully in the days to come, know that you are not the only one that struggles through the holidays. Whether our wounds are old or new, private or public, we are not alone. May this service bring you some measure of comfort. Please rise in body or spirit. We'll sing "Abide with Me" from our black hymnal, verses 1, 2, and 3, and it is in your bulletin. a litany of darkness and light. John chapter 1, verses 1 through 5. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him, and without him not one thing came into being. What has come into being in him was life, and life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it.
We wait in the darkness, expectantly, longingly, anxiously, thoughtfully.
The darkness is our friend. In the darkness of the womb, we have all been nurtured and protected. In the darkness of the womb, the Christ child was made ready for the journey into light. You are with us, O God, in darkness and in light.
Psalm 121, verses 1 and 2. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where will my help come? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth.
It is only in the darkness that we can see the splendor of the universe. Blankets of stars, the solitary glowings of distant planets.
It was the darkness that allowed the Magi to find the star that guided them to where the Christ child lay. You are with us, O God, in darkness and in light.
Isaiah chapter 40, verses 28 through 31. Have you not known? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He does not faint or grow weary. His understanding is unsearchable. God gives power to the faint and strengthens the powerless. Even youths will faint and be weary, and the young will fall and be exhausted. But those who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint.
In the darkness of night, desert people find relief from the cruel, relentless heat of the sun. In the darkness of sleep, we are soothed and restored, healed and renewed.
In the blessed desert darkness, Mary and Joseph were able to flee with the infant Jesus to safety in Egypt. In the darkness of sleep, dreams rise up. God spoke to Jacob and Joseph through dreams. God is speaking still. You are with us, O God, in darkness and in light.
Isaiah chapter 40, verse 1. Comfort, oh comfort my people, says your God.
In the solitude of darkness, we sometimes remember those who need God's presence in a special way. The sick, the unemployed, the bereaved, the persecuted, the homeless, those who are demoralized and discouraged, those whose fears have turned to cynicism, those whose vulnerability has become bitterness.
Sometimes in the darkness, we remember those who are dear to our hearts, colleagues, partners, parents, children, neighbors, friends. We thank God for their presence and ask God to bless and protect them in all that they do, at home, at school, as they travel, as they work, as they play.
You are with us, O God, in darkness and in light. Psalm 13, verses 1 and 2. How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I bear pain in my soul and have sorrow in my heart all day long?
Sometimes in the solitude of darkness, our fears and concerns, our hopes and our visions rise to the surface. We come face to face with ourselves and with the road that lies ahead of us. And in that same darkness, we find companionship for the journey.
In that same darkness, we sometimes allow ourselves to wonder and worry whether the human race is going to survive.
We know you are with us, O God,
yet we still await your coming. In the darkness that contains both our hopelessness and our expectancy, we watch for a sign of God's hope.
I remember listening to lyrics of Dan Fogelberg's song, probably in the 80s, "The Part of the Plan," or "Part of the Plan." And so I'll share a few of those lyrics with you now. Lyrics that came back to me in the week that I was preparing this service. I have these moments, all steady and strong. I'm feeling so holy and humble. The next thing I know, I'm all worried and weak, and I feel myself starting to crumble. The meanings get lost, and the teachings get tossed, and you don't know what you're going to do next. You wait for the sun, but it never quite comes. Some kind of message comes through to you. Some kind of message comes through. And it says to you, love when you can, cry when you have to. Be who you must, that's a part of the plan. Await your arrival with simple survival, and one day we'll all understand. One day we'll all understand. One day we'll all understand. Tonight especially, we hold open space for our grief, our sorrow, our longings. Tonight especially, we hold open space for solace, for grace, for love. We are holding space for whatever it is you need this night. We light one candle to illuminate our prayers. You are welcome to pray silently or to lift up names. You don't need to raise your hand or be called on. If there's something on your heart and you want to say it out loud, please do.
My son, listen to your own deep nature.
I pray for Sarah, who lost her cousin in that Pasadena accident. For the 4 Maritime students who lost their lives over the weekend. For all the babies in the neonatal intensive care unit and their parents.
To everyone who passed suddenly from this life. And we can pray. And you know, peace, strength, clear vision.
For Nancy, whose brother Ross died a year ago this week. And for family and friends of Mary Sheline, who died this past Monday, for her family and friends as they have their first Christmas without her.
For Larry, my brother-in-law, who very much misses Lynn, my sister, as do I.
Merciful God, hear our prayers for all that is spoken, for all that is offered up in silence. For those whom we have loved and lost, we pause to remember their names, their faces, their voices, the memories that bind them to us in this season. May God's eternal love surround them and us. Merciful God, hear our prayer for the loss of relationships, the loss of jobs, the loss of health. We pause to gather up the pain of the past and offer it up to you, God, asking that from your grace we receive the gift of peace. Merciful God, hear and answer these prayers. Bring comfort, bring peace, bring love to all of us and to all of the world. Amen.
The Blessing That Does Not End by Jan Richardson. From the moment it first laid eyes on you, this blessing loved you. This blessing knew you from the start. It cannot explain how. It just knows that the first time it sat down beside you, it entered into a conversation that had already been going on forever. Believe this conversation has not stopped. Believe this love still lives, the love that crossed an impossible distance to reach you. To find you, to take your face into its hands and bless you. Believe this does not end, that the gesture, once enacted, endures. Believe this love goes on, that it still takes your face into its hands, that it presses its forehead to yours as it speaks to you in undying words, that it has never ceased to gather your heart into its heart. Believe this blessing abides. Believe it goes with you always. Believe it knows you still.
Please rise and body your spirit. We'll sing, Breathe on Me, Breath of God.
Breathe
May you run and not be weary. May you rise up on the wings of eagles. May you know without doubt that the everlasting God goes with you. Amen. Please be very safe as you drive home tonight. I think all of you are aware how slippery it was getting here.